monthly cabinet meeting focuses on macroeconomy. Vietnam's socio-economic achievements reviewed.
Hello, you're with me, Linh Hương from Hanoi, and welcome to another episode of Beastline brought to you by VTV International. As usual, we start our show by reviewing what have made headlines for the past week. Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng chaired a government meeting on Tuesday to assess the current global economic fluctuations as well as their impacts on Vietnam. Regarding the declining price of crude oil, different scenarios, including the worst-case scenario, were discussed to settle on appropriate solutions. The Ministry of Finance confirmed that budget revenues were still secure and would exceed the target of an 8% increase. Regarding debates around recent adjustments to the interest rates and the exchange rate of the Vietnamese dong, the State Bank vowed to stabilize the market for the coming time. In his closing statement, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng said ministries and agencies should closely follow market fluctuations and actively coordinate to respond to new circumstances. An exhibition with the topic Reform, Integration and Development ran in Hanoi from August 28th to September 3rd. The event was in the run-up to the 70th anniversary of the National Day, September 2nd, attracting the participation of 47 cities and provinces as well as businesses nationwide. The 15,000 square meter exhibit, sprawling both indoors and outdoors, presented outstanding socio-economic achievements under the leadership of the party and state over the past 70 years. Side events included a seminar, music performances, and publicity campaigns that will enhance exhibitors to introduce investment opportunities, new policies, and products. The 47th ASEAN Economic Ministers meeting and related meetings took place in the Malaysian capital of Kuala Lumpur from August 22nd to 25th. The Vietnamese delegation was led by Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade Nguyễn Cẩm Tú. The event was a forum for ASEAN trade leaders to discuss directions to complete measures to develop the ASEAN Economic Community by the end of this year and a roadmap for the community's development towards 2025. Topics for discussion include trade promotion and facilitation to reduce costs and improve business competitiveness. The 9th Vietnam Business Forum in Europe gathered businesses and Vietnamese diplomatic missions from 13 European countries in Varna, Bulgaria on August 22nd. The event aimed to devise methods for overseas Vietnamese businesses in the European Union to cope with economic difficulties in the region. The focus was on three great opportunities for Vietnamese businesses in Europe: the increasing demand from consumers due to economic crisis recovery, the European Union and Russia's search for new economic partners, and the upcoming free trade agreement between Vietnam and the European Union. The forum also provided a chance for overseas Vietnamese businesses in the EU to share knowledge and seek proper business solutions towards future sustainable development. We just reviewed several highlights in the economic scene for the past week. Up next, we talk about Vietnam's socio-economic achievements for the past 7 decades in our crosstalk.
On September 2nd, 1945, President Ho Chi Minh read the Declaration of Independence, marking the birth of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam, now the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Over the past 70 years, Vietnam has gone through many stages of economic development. After decades of war and a difficult post-war period, the breakthrough came in 1986, when the decision to start the Đổi mới or Renovation period was made at the 6th National Congress of the Communist Party of Vietnam. By shifting from a planned economy into a socialist-oriented market economy, the country entered a new era of development. GDP growth has averaged 6.6% per annum since 1986. Vietnam is thus among the fastest growing economies in the region and the world. The 2014 GDP was $186 billion. This represents a 30-fold increase within a quarter of a century, and a 9-fold increase when compared with the year 1995, when Vietnam joined ASEAN and normalized diplomatic ties with the US. Along with economic growth came a drastic improvement of income levels. GDP per capita surpassed $2,000 in 2014. This is 21 times higher than the 1989 figure. These and other achievements have elevated Vietnam's status as one of the most attractive emerging economies in the world.
In this special edition of Eastline, where we commemorate the 70th National Day, September 2nd, we are honored and delighted to welcome to our studio Professor Dr. Nguyễn Thiện Nhân, Politburo member and president of the Central Committee of the Vietnam Fatherland Front. As someone who has assumed many high-ranking positions in the government and state and is an experienced economist himself, Professor Nguyễn Thiện Nhân will share with us his insights into the achievements of Vietnam's economy thus far. Thank you very much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to be with us in our show today.
My pleasure.
First of all, as this year Vietnam is commemorating the 70th anniversary of the National Day on September 2nd, over the past 7 decades, the country has witnessed tremendous growth, especially since the country entered the renovation period, or the đổi mới. As an economist in this field, what do you think have been the milestones in the GDP growth of Vietnam so far?
After the end of the war, we wish we can rebuild our country, we can achieve high growth. But after the first 10 years, the economy went down into crisis. And we have to draw the lesson that planned economy didn't work. Therefore, in 1986, we abolished this planned economy and introduced market economy with a socialist orientation. And from that time, when the economy at the bottom, the volume of GDP was only $6.3 billion. And last year, we achieved $186 billion. So after 25 years, the volume of Vietnam economy grew 30 times. So I think it's a very remarkable achievement of our country.
Mm-hmm. Vietnam's income per capita has also grown substantially over that period, and now Vietnam is a middle-income country. Compared to the period before đổi mới, or the renovation period, what do you think have been the most remarkable changes to the life of ordinary Vietnamese people?
I remember during that time when I went back from army to university to teach, 83, most people are happy if they have a bicycle to go to the work. Mm-hmm. But today, most are driving motorbike and when they have private cars. Also, TV was a big dream at that time. But today, every household has 1 or 2 TV in Vietnam. Also, telephone in family is a luxury at that time. But today, we have by 91 million people in the country, 150 million telephone and mobile phone in Vietnam. So we can say that with this achievement from economic and social aspect, the poverty ratio went down from 62% in 1990 to 8% last year. So today is a reduction of poverty still necessary for some part of the people in the rural or mountain area. But nationwide, with GDP per capita of more than 2,000, we are moving in middle-income country already.
Hanoi in 2015. Busy streets, tall buildings. Among 90 million of the total population, more than 50% is under 30. Therefore, it is not an easy task for them to visualize and understand how life was before Renovation 1986.
Tôi sinh năm 1994 và đó là thời kỳ đổi mới rồi. Và tôi chỉ được biết được những câu chuyện của ngày xưa qua lời kể của ông bà và bố mẹ.
Cuộc sống của thế hệ trẻ của bọn em là vô cùng thoải mái hơn là ngày xưa rồi. Cuộc sống là được lo đầy đủ từ bé.
Như tôi là sinh ra thế hệ là 8X. Tôi vẫn nhớ cái hình ảnh là ngày xưa khi mà còn bé thì cái đồ ăn, đồ dùng mà để cho mình có thể bổ sung cho mình ấy, thường là như lon sữa bò cổ ngày xưa ấy, thì những cái đấy nó hằn sâu vào trong cái suy nghĩ.
A reunion between the old couple Thanh Kim and their lifelong friend. They all lived through the renovation period and witnessed many difficulties of the economy during this period. Thanh is 85 years old and Kim is 75. They retired after years working at Vietnam Post Office. Chung, their friend, used to be a chef in the same workplace.
Thì lúc bây giờ rất khổ, khổ lắm ấy. Vừa nuôi con, vừa đi làm, vừa xếp hàng mua cá, mua thịt.
Không có bao giờ có cái xe nào mà đi cả. Ô tô cũng không, mà xe máy cũng không, mà xe đạp cũng không. Chỉ đi bộ.
Hai, who is Thanh and Kim's son-in-law, also shared his thoughts about growing up during the renovation period.
Cuối những năm 80, đầu những năm 90, lúc ấy thì trẻ em Hà Nội chỉ ăn cái sữa bột xay mà họ bán ở trên đường Đế La Thành. Thế còn bây giờ thì khi các ông bố ba mẹ mà đến các cửa hàng sữa thì tôi nghĩ rằng họ có thể ngợp thở và thậm chí không biết chọn sữa nào để cho con mình ăn.
86 là đã 10 năm thống nhất rồi, thì cứ mỗi năm đều có một cái cải thiện thêm.
Mà bây giờ mình thích cái gì thì có cái đấy.
As Vietnam shifts to a socialist-oriented market economy, the country is becoming more open to the regional and international market. How do you think about the role of economic integration to the development of the economy in Vietnam?
The economic integration has played a very important role to our country. And we have to learn later and later how important it was. First one, through integration, we receive excellent input for the country, like raw material, equipment, and also knowledge from other countries. This inflow from human capital, knowledge and capital is very important to Vietnam on one side. But also we realize that through integration we learn the standard for doing business. We adopt our habit, our regulation to world standard. The second aspect is the output of the economy. Because our GDP per capita was still low, the local purchasing power is low. But if we orient a product to foreign market, the demand is huge. So one example, we're exporting every year now 6 million ton rice. We are exporting at the moment as second biggest world exporter of mobile phone into the world market. So integration means for us that the world market is open for local production and is huge driving force for our economy.
Let's now focus more on agriculture sector. What do you think have been the most noteworthy success in the agriculture sector?
In the 80s of the last century, we have to import rice and many other agricultural products. But today, we are one of the top agricultural product exporter in the world. We are helping to stabilize the world market in food. So agriculture is one sector where the trade always surplus to Vietnam. And so it helped to maintain the job for more than 10 million farmer households. And other aspect is that not only from the volume of production, but the productivity is also high. For example, in the pepper, the average earning in Vietnam is 3 ton per hectare, and the world is less than 1 ton per hectare. So we are not only good in the production volume, but also good in productivity in agriculture.
In 1995, Vietnam became a member of ASEAN and normalized diplomatic relations with the United States, thus starting to integrate strongly into the global economy. After signing the bilateral trade agreement with the US in 2000 and joining the World Trade Organization in 2007, Vietnam has raised its exports dramatically. Between 1995 and 2014, export turnover rose 30-fold, reaching $150 billion last year. Vietnam has recorded a trade surplus for the past 3 years. The country is now a globally leading exporter of pepper, cashew, mobile phones, coffee, rice, seafood, footwear, to name a few. And as Vietnam becomes member of new economic blocs and free trade agreements, the prospects for increased trade turnover are looking positive.
Another highlight in Vietnam's economic development for the past 7 decades is foreign direct investment. How has the FDI inflows into Vietnam changed for those period?
So if we look back at the date 1988, when we passed the law on foreign investment, the foreign investment was roughly 1 billion realized capital per year. 1 billion, we start 1 billion. Then 10 years from 1995 to 2005, the average annual realization of investment, 3 billion. 10 years long, no change. But since 2007, when the world economy went to crisis, when people want to shift the investment into safer location, many picked Vietnam. And from 2009 until today, the average foreign capital realization was 11 billion per year. So the contribution of foreign manufacturing in Vietnam to export went very highly up. We can say foreign investment has very important role in Vietnam in order to utilize our workforce and supply product to the world market.
The country for the first time issued the Law on Foreign Investment in Vietnam in December 1987, encouraging the inflow of FDI capital into the country. Fast forward to 2015, foreign direct investment has contributed about 45% of the industrial production value, 20% of tax revenue, 72% of total exports, and employs about 3.5 million Vietnamese workers.
Chúng ta biết rằng là rất nhiều người đã từ cái hoạt động đầu tư nước ngoài, làm việc trong doanh nghiệp đầu tư nước ngoài, trở về làm các tổng giám đốc điều hành, chủ tịch hội đồng quản trị, các ngân hàng, các cái doanh nghiệp ở trong nước, và phải nói là đóng góp rất quan trọng vào cái đổi mới quản trị doanh nghiệp của Việt Nam, và rất nhiều cái tập đoàn kinh tế lớn hiện nay nhờ đó mà vươn ra được khu vực của thế giới.
FDI inflows into Vietnam mainly focus on processing industries at 53.8% and real estate at 20.9%. The Republic of Korea is currently the largest foreign investor in Vietnam, with total investment of $39.1 billion in nearly 4,500 projects as of June 2015.
Vietnam has a large labor market, with its working-age population making up 60% of the total population. In addition, Vietnam has an advantageous geographical location with easy connections to many countries and regions, including China, the EU, and the US.
In the ASEAN bloc, Singapore is the largest investor in Vietnam, with over 1,400 projects valued at $33.1 billion by April 2015. In 1994, Singaporean real estate company CapitaLand was one of the first international developers to enter Vietnam. After over 20 years of operations, the company currently owns over 6,000 homes and 1,800 apartment units in the country.
When we decided to invest in a country, we look at a few things. First thing, actually, whether the country politically stable. So Vietnam is very stable. Second, we look at its population. Do you have a big enough population? Vietnam, again, they got 91 million people. The next thing you look at the growth, the GDP growth, is it healthy? I think Vietnam consistently doing well. They're doing growth about 5-6% every year, range from 5 to 7%. And then, of course, the other fundamentally also got to be right. Inflation, interest rate, they are all under control.
As Vietnam integrates further into the regional and global economy, the country hopes to improve the FDI inflows into high-tech sectors and attract bigger brands into the country.
Vietnam is now integrating more and more to the global and also the regional economy through free trade agreements with the EU, with South Korea, especially the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and also the AEC, the ASEAN Economic Community, to be established by the end of this year. In your view, what opportunities and challenges would this bring to Vietnam?
I follow the philosophy. We look at the opportunity first and we look at the challenge. We learn from the history. When we opened our trade relation with US in 2000, our trade volume went up sharply. So today, US, the biggest importer of Vietnamese product, making 20%. Then we joined the WTO 2007. The export went up again. And if we finish all agreement with European Union, the TPP agreement, 63% of world GDP is open to Vietnam economy with tax rate of 0%. So this is a huge potential. And if I look back at the last 30 years, I would expect the export will grow much faster than in the past. Also, because of this trade agreement in new style, more equipment will come to Vietnam at a lower cost. So we can speed up our industrialization faster than in the past. But the challenge, first we have to know the world market. The market's open, say from 25% world economy to 63%, but we do not know on the condition, opportunity in new world market, in this new country. So we have to learn. Secondly, we have to know the demand in specific condition. We export this product to ASEAN countries. It's different than American, Africa, or Europe. So we have to know the international rule in order to advertise our product accordingly. But there are also a threat in the sense that many local products, say agriculture product in husbandry, in Vietnam is not very high productive. So we might face a competition from import meat product, for example, or milk product. We have to accept. We learn that if you accept competition, you make more effort internally, you will utilize external condition and opportunity. So I'm confident we will reshape our mind, we will reshape our preparation for globalization. So we can get a win-win position for all the partners.
Trong suốt cái chiều dài cải cách và đổi mới Việt Nam ấy, thì mở cửa hội nhập là một cái bộ phận hữu cơ của toàn bộ quá trình cải cách, và nó tương tác qua lại với lại cái cải cách trong nước. Cho nên có thể nói đấy tuy hai nhưng mà lại là một. Và với các cái hiệp định thương mại tự do, với cái cam kết quốc tế mà ở cái mức độ sâu rộng hơn, chất lượng cao hơn của Việt Nam ấy, thì có thể nói là cái tương tác ấy nó lại càng lớn.
Và bản thân chúng ta đấy thì khi mà chấp nhận cái thu hút đầu tư, thu hút hợp tác, thu hút về nhập khẩu đấy, thì chúng ta cũng phải đương đầu với những cái thách thức mới về an toàn vệ sinh thực phẩm, về chất lượng các cái hàng hóa nhập nội, về chất lượng và hiệu quả của các dịch vụ, và cả những vấn đề mới về sở hữu trí tuệ, về đa dạng sinh học, vân vân.
Hội nhập là cái yếu tố cực kỳ quan trọng của cái nền kinh tế hiện đại phát triển, đặc biệt là cái nền kinh tế đi sau. như Việt Nam, nó giúp cho chúng ta đấy là nguồn lực tài chính, nguồn lực về công nghệ, nguồn lực về thể chế, đưa ra những cái thể chế mới đưa vào Việt Nam.
Vietnam has over time found a trade integration very effective in promoting its growth. I think what you can also expect is that there will be other firms that will relocate to Vietnam to be able to take advantage of the free trade agreement.
So from all the opportunities and challenges you have just mentioned, from economic integration and more competition, what are the prospects for Vietnam's economy in the next 10 or 15 years?
So the world economy is very turbulent. So someone there to make a very precise prediction is difficult. So I look back at 30 years. 30 years Vietnam economy grew up by 6.6%. So with this new open world market to Vietnam, with our strength, local economic power, I would guess, I would hope, and we can make all effort to realize this vision that our economy will grow for next 15 years in the range 7 to 8%. It's one expectation. The second one that we will work together with ASEAN countries so that we can support each other in terms not only of production capacity, but human power. What we need specialized human resource and not available in Vietnam, we can get from ASEAN countries through our unified economy in 3 or 4 months. So I think this challenge, that we face more competition, but we're ready to do it.
Now looking back on the past 30 years, Vietnam has achieved a lot of socio-economic achievements. If there's one lesson that Vietnam can draw from its own experience, what can it be?
One lesson. I will think that the world is so diversified, but human nature has many aspects common. All countries are striving to make their own people happy, to make living standard better one. So if we agree on this common purpose, we can cooperate. So cooperation with the same vision, same target to serve the people in our country and in other locations, we can benefit from our strength. So I think the lesson today, in globalized world, a coordinated effort will benefit all, and we can achieve many things faster, better than we would do it alone. So I wish globalization will help the world make the peace safer, make the economy prosper.
Well, thank you very much for joining our program today and share with us your insights into Vietnam's economy. It has been our tremendous pleasure.
Thank you too for this interview.
And that's it for this special edition of East Line with our guest, Professor Dr. Nguyễn Thiện Nhân, Politburo member and president of the Central Committee of Vietnam Fatherland Front. As Vietnam looks back on the past 70 years of development and looks forward to the future, the country and its people can be confident that the years ahead will bring further success in economic growth. Thank you very much for watching. Repeats of our show or online at vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go. From our team here in Hanoi, until next time.